Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This simple yet profound insight captures the essence of what we will explore today: how to stop overthinking using Stoic wisdom. If you've ever felt trapped in a loop of worry, plagued by indecision, or overwhelmed by thoughts that seem impossible to control, then you are not alone. Overthinking is a challenge we all face, especially in today's fast-paced world where information bombards us from all angles. The teachings of Stoicism offer practical techniques to help us reclaim our mental space and live a life of purpose, free from the chains of unnecessary rumination. In this video, we will delve into 10 Stoic strategies designed to help you break free from the cycle of overthinking. Each method comes with timeless wisdom from ancient philosophers, coupled with practical steps you can apply in your everyday life. Stay with us until the end, and you'll not only learn how to manage your thoughts, but also gain a deeper understanding of yourself and the nature of your mind. Let's begin with the first Stoic technique. 1. Visualize overthinking as an external force. Overthinking is like fog creeping into a clear sky. What starts as a small worry can quickly expand until it envelops your entire mind. Have you ever felt like your thoughts were so overwhelming that they knocked you off your feet? You are not alone. But what if you could see these thoughts for what they truly are? Not a part of you, but separate, transient events that pass through your mind. Recognizing thoughts as separate from yourself. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, once observed, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This principle brings us to our first strategy: viewing overthinking as an external force. Instead of identifying with your thoughts, learn to see them as something separate from your true self. Imagine yourself as a mountain, standing firm and majestic, while the clouds, representing your thoughts, drift by without affecting your inner stillness. Think about it. When you overthink, do you feel as though you are losing yourself in the chaos? What if, instead, you could observe your thoughts without engaging with them? This mental exercise allows you to detach from the weight of overthinking, much like placing earplugs in a noisy crowd. It does not mean you should ignore your thoughts, but rather view them with an understanding that they do not define who you are. Observing without engagement. The practice of observing without engagement is a core aspect of Stoicism. Imagine each thought that arises as a bubble that floats away once you recognize it. It comes into your awareness and leaves without leaving a lasting impression on your peace. By training your mind to let go of thoughts before they accumulate into a mental storm, you can maintain a state of calmness. Does this approach resonate with you? Can you think of times when you allowed thoughts to dominate your mood and dictate your day? What if you could change that by simply letting them pass? This technique, when applied consistently, creates a mental reflex that separates you from the barrage of unnecessary worries. Distinguishing between yourself and your thoughts. By practicing visualization, you train yourself to distinguish between your essential self and the noise of your mind. This distinction becomes a shield, protecting you from the intensity of overthinking. When you notice that you are beginning to spiral into excessive rumination, picture your thoughts as nothing more than static, background noise that does not need to consume your attention. What would it mean for you to reclaim your mental territory? Could you find the strength to stop giving power to thoughts that disrupt your peace? By seeing thoughts as external forces, you acknowledge that they are part of life, but not the essence of life itself. This subtle shift in perspective has the potential to transform your daily experience. Moving forward with strength. Visualizing overthinking as something outside of yourself allows you to take back control, one step at a time. The path to inner peace begins with the recognition that you are not your thoughts. You are the observer of them. Now, let's turn our attention to the next Stoic strategy. 2. Refocus your energy. Have you ever found yourself caught in a loop of what-ifs and worst-case scenarios, endlessly replaying the same worries in your mind until you felt mentally exhausted? It's like having too many browser tabs open at once, each with a different video playing on full blast, and you cannot seem to hit pause. In a world that demands us to stay on top of everything, this kind of mental multitasking has become all too common. How often do you catch yourself spiraling down this rabbit hole? Redirecting mental energy for peace of mind. According to Stoicism, true happiness comes from enjoying the present moment without an anxious attachment to the future. Seneca, another great Stoic thinker, once said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." Redirecting your mental energy is not merely about quieting the mind, but reclaiming control over your thoughts. To refocus means to choose where to invest your energy consciously. Ask yourself, what would happen if you could redirect the energy spent on overthinking into something constructive? How would it change your experience of life? The simple act of grounding yourself in the present can transform your mental state from anxiety to clarity. The practical steps to grounding yourself. Start by engaging in a small task that requires your full attention, such as tidying up your workspace, going for a walk, or enjoying a book. These tasks demand focus, pulling you away from the whirlpool of future anxieties and bringing you back to the present moment. The goal is not to distract yourself, but to immerse yourself in the task at hand so that your mind naturally aligns with what you are doing. What activities help you feel present? Can you incorporate these tasks into your daily routine as a way to quiet your mind? Remember, Stoicism is not about suppressing thoughts, but about managing them wisely. When you choose where to direct your energy, you practice a form of mental discipline that strengthens your resilience over time. Building mental discipline. Through refocusing. The more you practice refocusing, the stronger your ability to redirect your thoughts becomes. It is much like training a muscle. The more you exercise your power to focus, the more resilient your mind will be in the face of overthinking. Imagine the overwhelming tide of thoughts becoming manageable, one wave at a time. With deliberate effort and presence, you can tame the noise in your mind. Do you notice a pattern in your life where overthinking tends to occur? What if you could preemptively prepare for these moments by practicing grounding techniques regularly? With consistent practice, you will find that your ability to stay present grows stronger, making it easier to overcome the habit of overthinking. Embracing the present with a clear mind. Refocusing your energy is not about avoiding overthinking entirely, an unrealistic expectation for anyone. It is about recognizing when your thoughts are no longer serving you and taking deliberate action to bring your mind back to the present. As we continue, let us explore another approach that builds on this discipline. 3. Embrace impermanence and practice letting go. Our minds often get stuck in a loop, revisiting past events or worrying about the future. This tendency to cling to thoughts is the playground of overthinking, where worries linger longer than they are welcome. We all experience this in different ways. A student fretting over exams, a professional anxious about a presentation, or someone struggling to fall asleep while their thoughts race at 100 miles per hour. Have you ever found yourself caught in this mental marathon, the wisdom of embracing change. Stoicism teaches that everything in life is subject to change, including our thoughts. Epictetus reminds us, "He who fears death will never do anything worthy of a man who is alive." While this may sound heavy, it speaks to the concept of impermanence, a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. When we overthink, we often act as though our thoughts are permanent and immutable, giving them far more power than they deserve. What if you could view thoughts as passing phenomena, like clouds in the sky or leaves drifting along a river? The ability to accept that thoughts will come and go and that they are not eternal can be liberating. Does this idea resonate with you? Could it change the way you approach your inner dialogue? Letting go as a form of mental decluttering. Practicing letting go is like decluttering your mind, where you consciously release thoughts that do not serve you. Visualization techniques, such as imagining a river where each thought floats away like a leaf on the water's surface, can be helpful. Alternatively, picture your thoughts as clouds, ever-changing and eventually passing. This mental exercise provides immediate relief while also cultivating a deeper understanding of the nature of thought. Have you tried letting go of persistent thoughts before? How did it feel? When you consistently practice this approach, you begin to see that letting go is not an act of weakness, but one of courage. You are choosing to free yourself from thoughts that no longer deserve your attention, thereby creating a space for peace. Transforming the way you relate to your thoughts. As you get better at releasing thoughts, you will notice a newfound mental space, quietness that was always there, just hidden beneath the noise of overthinking. Embracing impermanence is not merely a technique, it is a mindset shift that changes the way you live. Life becomes more peaceful and present when you allow thoughts to leave rather than clinging to them. The practice of letting go is a continuous journey, one that leads to a greater sense of inner freedom. What impact could embracing impermanence have on your daily life? Could it help you approach challenges with a lighter heart and a clearer mind? As we move forward, let's explore another practical Stoic method to contain and manage our worries effectively. 4. Create a worry period. It is common to have persistent worries that seem to be ever present, much like the hum of a refrigerator that we may not always notice, but is always there. These concerns often hijack our thoughts when we are trying to concentrate on work, enjoy time with loved ones, or even as we lie in bed trying to sleep. Have you experienced this before? What if there was a way to give these worries their due time without letting them take over your entire day? The purpose of setting aside time for worry. In Stoicism, the idea is not to completely eradicate worry. Such a goal would be unrealistic. Instead, the objective is to confine it, to set boundaries around it so that it does not dominate our mental space. The great Stoic teacher Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." While this quote may seem unrelated, it serves as a reminder that prioritizing our peace of mind is more important than obsessing over how we appear to others or our concerns about various situations. Creating a designated worry period gives worries their moment on stage, but only when you decide. Imagine setting aside 20 minutes in the afternoon as your worry time. During this period, you allow yourself to dive deeply into your concerns, examining them from all angles. Ask yourself, what exactly am I worried about? How likely is this scenario to occur? What can I do about it? By giving your worries this focused attention, you may find that many of them lack substance, much like shadows that appear larger than they really are. Containing worry rather than letting it roam. Free compartmentalizing your worries helps you regain control over your mental state. By setting a specific time to worry, you tell your mind that there is a place for concerns, but it is not all day, every day. Have you ever noticed how worrying seems to intensify when you are trying to enjoy something else, like a meal with friends or a relaxing moment by yourself? What if you could tell your mind, not now, but later, and then continue to enjoy the present moment? This practice is akin to tidying up your mental space, putting thoughts in their proper place. By the time the worry period ends, you put those concerns aside and move on. It is an act of self-discipline that trains your mind not to be overrun by worry. When practiced regularly, this technique reduces the impact of worrying and creates a sense of order in your daily life, seeing worries for what they are. Through this approach, you may start to recognize that some worries are repetitive or baseless, while others may indeed require attention. The Stoic practice is not to avoid confronting our concerns, but to face them with clarity and intention. When you give yourself permission to worry only during a set period, you build a mental boundary that protects your peace of mind. What effect could it have on your life if you contained your worries within a specific time frame? Could it make room for more enjoyable activities and reduce the strain on your mind? Try setting aside a worry period and notice how it changes your relationship with your thoughts. Moving towards order in your mind. Creating a worry period is a practical way to take charge of your mental environment. It allows you to direct your attention purposefully rather than letting it be pulled in every direction. Now, let's look at another Stoic technique that can help you transform overwhelming thoughts into manageable steps. 5. Break down overwhelming thoughts into actionable steps. When faced with a big problem, it often feels like carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders. Overthinking exacerbates this feeling, making worries seem as immovable as a massive boulder. The pressure to succeed in various aspects of life, work, relationships, personal growth, can make even the most composed individuals feel overwhelmed. Have you ever found yourself frozen by indecision, unsure of where to start? What if, instead of trying to tackle the entire problem at once, you could break it down into smaller, manageable steps? Turning obstacles into pathways. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This quote encapsulates the Stoic idea that challenges are not merely to be endured, but are opportunities for growth. When you break down overwhelming tasks into small, actionable steps, you transform the problem from an insurmountable obstacle into a series of manageable tasks. Think about a time when you were overwhelmed by a large project or problem. Did breaking it down into smaller tasks help make it feel less daunting? If so, you have already experienced the power of this Stoic approach. The key is to focus not on the entire journey, but on the next step you can take. The practicality of taking one step at a time. Instead of letting your mind race with all the potential outcomes, ask yourself, what is the very next step I can take right now? The goal is to shift from a state of anxiety to a state of doing. Acting on just one small task may seem trivial, but it is a powerful antidote to overthinking. Each completed step builds momentum, gradually making the overwhelming problem more approachable. How often do we get stuck because we are trying to solve all aspects of a problem at once? What if, instead, we simply focused on what is within our power to do in the moment? By narrowing your focus, you give yourself permission to make progress without the burden of having to solve everything at once. The value of small victories. Each small step is a victory that reduces the power of overthinking, As you continue, you may find that what once seemed like an enormous obstacle has now become a series of smaller, conquerable challenges. It is like untangling a knot. You work on one tangle at a time. This method is not about dismissing the complexity of your concerns, but rather navigating through them with patience and purpose. Have you ever looked back at a situation that initially felt overwhelming and realized that, step by step, you managed to get through it? What if you could apply this approach to every challenging situation you face? The beauty of breaking down thoughts into actionable steps lies in its simplicity and effectiveness. Advancing through challenges, step by step. By focusing on what you can do in the present moment, you take control of your thoughts and redirect your mental energy towards purposeful action. As we continue, let us explore a technique that shifts our mindset from scarcity to abundance. 6. Shift your perspective to gratitude. The habit of overthinking often arises from a fixation on what is missing or what could go wrong. When our minds dwell on what we lack or the fears of the future, it can leave us feeling drained, anxious, and discontent. Stoicism offers a remedy for this: the practice of gratitude. Seneca, one of the great Stoic thinkers, advised, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." How often do we forget to appreciate what is right in front of us? What if shifting our perspective to gratitude could help break the cycle of overthinking? The power of focusing on what is already good. Gratitude is not about ignoring difficulties. It is about recognizing the value of what we already have. When you practice gratitude, you direct your mind to appreciate the present moment, rather than being caught up in concerns about the future or regrets about the past. By listing 3 things you are grateful for each day, you begin to cultivate a mindset that emphasizes abundance rather than scarcity. Have you noticed how easy it is to dwell on the negatives? How often do you take time to acknowledge the positives, no matter how small they may be? Practicing gratitude helps us see that there is always something to be thankful for, even in difficult times. The practical benefits of gratitude. By actively focusing on the good in your life, you naturally reduce the space available for overthinking. Gratitude pulls you out of the mental ruts that keep you fixated on what is lacking, grounding you in the richness of the present. This shift in focus transforms your inner dialogue from one of worry to one of appreciation. It is not just about feeling better in the moment, but about building a foundation of contentment that can sustain you through life's ups and downs. Could you commit to a daily practice of gratitude? What might change if you consistently looked for things to appreciate rather than focusing on what you lack? Gratitude has a way of changing our perspective, allowing us to approach life with a sense of fulfillment. Transforming overthinking into appreciation. When you make gratitude a habit, you may find that the things that once caused you to overthink are now opportunities to recognize and appreciate the positives in your life. Over time, this practice can transform your approach to challenges, helping you see not just what needs to be fixed, but also what is already working well. How might your life improve if you focused more on what you have rather than what you fear losing? Could gratitude become your tool for quieting the noise of overthinking? Let this shift towards appreciation guide your thoughts and actions. Moving to a state of contentment. Gratitude offers a way to step out of the loop of overthinking by reminding us of the abundance already present in our lives. As we continue, we will explore a Stoic practice that involves focusing on effort rather than the outcome. 7. Focus on effort not outcome. One of the main reasons we fall into the trap of overthinking is our fixation on the future, on potential outcomes, possible failures, and the endless what-ifs. This obsession with results often paralyzes us, preventing us from taking any action at all. In a society that emphasizes outcomes and success, it is easy to forget that the process itself holds value. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our efforts and intentions, rather than worrying about the results. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." How often do we let our fear of an uncertain outcome stop us from living according to our principles? Shifting your focus to what is within your control. Stoicism reminds us that while we cannot control the outcomes of our actions, we can always control our efforts. By focusing on the quality of your actions, you free yourself from the anxiety that comes from worrying about things outside your influence. Ask yourself, are you doing your best? Are your actions aligned with your values? This shift in focus not only liberates you from the fear of failure, but also allows you to live with greater integrity and purpose. Do you find yourself worrying about results that are beyond your control? What if you could redirect that energy into doing your best in each moment, regardless of the outcome? This Stoic approach can be a powerful antidote to overthinking. The satisfaction of doing your best. When you prioritize effort over outcome, you allow yourself to be present in the process, putting in the work and trusting that this is where your responsibility ends. This mindset frees you from the chains of overthinking about the future. It encourages you to view each action not merely as a means to an end, but as an expression of your character and commitment. How would your approach to life change if you focused on giving your best rather than worrying about what might happen? Could this shift help you enjoy the journey more, regardless of where it leads? Transforming the meaning of success. Success, from a Stoic perspective, is not measured by external achievements, but by the quality of your actions and your adherence to your values. By focusing on effort, you redefine success in terms of integrity and personal growth, rather than in terms of recognition or results. This approach allows you to live in alignment with your true self, free from the anxieties of outcomes that you cannot control. Could you redefine what success means for you? How might your life improve if you measured your progress by the quality of your efforts rather than by external results? By focusing on effort, you reclaim your power and reduce the burden of overthinking. Living in alignment with your values. Focusing on effort, not outcome, shifts your perspective from one of fear to one of empowerment. As we move forward, let us explore how engaging with discomfort intentionally can reduce the power of overthinking. 8. Practice voluntary discomfort. Our minds often spiral into overthinking when we face potential discomfort or change. We tend to rehearse scenarios repeatedly in our heads, attempting to predict every possible outcome or to prepare ourselves for every imaginable discomfort. This mental rehearsal can be draining and counterproductive, keeping us confined within the boundaries of our comfort zones, where growth is limited and overthinking thrives. Have you ever found yourself avoiding challenges simply because they seemed uncomfortable or unfamiliar? What if embracing discomfort intentionally could help free you from the cycle of overthinking? The Stoic tradition of engaging with discomfort. Stoicism teaches that by deliberately practicing voluntary discomfort, we can train our minds to handle uncertainty and reduce the power of fear. Marcus Aurelius, reflecting on this idea, said, "The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing." Life, with all its unpredictability, requires us to face challenges head-on rather than shy away from them. By choosing to engage with discomfort in small, manageable ways, we build resilience and learn that our fears are often more manageable than they appear. What if you could train your mind to respond to discomfort with calmness and clarity rather than anxiety and avoidance? How different would your life be if discomfort no longer had the power to paralyze you? Applying voluntary discomfort in daily life. Start by incorporating small acts of voluntary discomfort into your routine. It could be as simple as taking a cold shower, fasting for a few hours, or choosing to walk instead of drive. These small disruptions to your normal routine may seem trivial, but they teach you to face discomfort without judgment. Over time, the mind becomes less reactive to change, and you develop a habit of viewing discomfort as an opportunity for growth rather than something to be avoided. Think of a recent time when you faced discomfort. Did you find yourself overthinking how to avoid it? What if, instead, you embraced it as a training exercise for your mind? Each experience of voluntary discomfort is like lifting a weight at the gym. The more you practice, the stronger your resilience becomes. The paradoxical effect of increasing comfort. Through discomfort. It may seem counterintuitive, but by regularly engaging in uncomfortable situations, you can actually increase your overall comfort with life's uncertainties. As you expose yourself to discomfort, you learn to tolerate and even welcome it, knowing that it is not as threatening as your mind once made it out to be. This perspective shift transforms discomfort from an obstacle to a pathway for inner growth. Could you find a way to integrate voluntary discomfort into your life as a regular practice? What might change if you no longer saw discomfort as something to fear, but as a teacher that could strengthen your mind? Practicing voluntary discomfort helps quiet the overthinking mind by training it to adapt and respond with calmness. Becoming stronger with each challenge. Voluntary discomfort equips you with the mental tools to handle life's challenges more effectively, reducing the grip of overthinking. Next, let's discuss how reflecting on the transience of life can help us keep our worries in perspective. 9. Reflect on the transience of life. Overthinking often stems from losing sight of the bigger picture. When we zoom in too closely on the details of our lives, even the smallest issues can appear insurmountable, consuming our mental space and energy. The Stoic practice of reflecting on the transience of life reminds us to step back and view our worries within the broader context of human existence. Seneca wrote, "We are not given a short life, but we make it short, and we are not ill-supplied, but wasteful of it." How often do we let minor concerns consume us, forgetting the fleeting nature of our existence? Could recognizing life's brevity help us keep overthinking in check? Understanding the ephemeral nature of our worries. When we realize that life is constantly changing and that many of our concerns are, in fact, temporary, we gain a new perspective. Our thoughts and worries often feel permanent because we give them too much importance. By reflecting on the fact that time is always moving forward and that the moments we experience will soon be behind us, we can place our worries into a more realistic context. Have you ever looked back on a situation that once caused you great stress, only to realize that it no longer matters? How might your current worries change if you viewed them through the lens of transience? Cultivating an awareness of life's shortness. Stoicism encourages us to contemplate the inevitability of death not as a morbid exercise, but as a way to prioritize our experiences. By reminding ourselves that time is finite, we are prompted to focus on what truly matters. Consider how much of your time is spent worrying about things that may never come to pass? What if, instead of overthinking, you chose to live fully in the present, appreciating the moments as they come? Would your perspective shift if you asked yourself, will this concern matter in a year or even a month? Reflecting on the transience of life brings clarity to what is worth your attention and what is not. Making the most of the present moment. The Stoic view of time encourages us to live with purpose and intention, understanding that each moment lost to overthinking is a moment not fully lived. By embracing the ephemeral nature of life, we become more inclined to let go of trivial concerns and focus on the here and now. This approach is not about dismissing our worries, but rather about putting them in their rightful place, within the grand timeline of our lives. Do you find yourself becoming consumed by worries that are unlikely to have a lasting impact? Could you benefit from taking a step back and viewing your life as a whole? When we reflect on the transience of life, we naturally let go of the thoughts that no longer serve us. Living with greater appreciation. Reflecting on the impermanence of life helps us cherish each moment and prevents us from getting lost in the storm of overthinking. Lastly, let's explore how seeking wisdom from others can guide us out of the maze of our own minds. 10. Seek wisdom from outside yourself. Overthinking can make us feel trapped in a mental maze, where each turn seems to lead to more confusion. We often try to solve our problems alone, turning our thoughts over and over in our heads. But this can result in a cycle of rumination with no clear exit. The Stoic tradition recognizes the value of seeking wisdom from outside ourselves as a way to break free from this mental loop. Seneca said, "Consult your friend on everything, especially on those matters concerning yourself." How often do we isolate ourselves within our own thoughts, trying to solve problems in solitude? What if seeking guidance from others could provide the clarity we need? The value of external perspectives. Stoicism encourages us to seek insight from friends, mentors, or even from the wisdom of the great thinkers who came before us. When we share our thoughts with others, we not only clarify them for ourselves, but also open the door to objective feedback. Often, an outside perspective can reveal solutions or viewpoints that we may not have considered. Have you ever found that talking through a problem with someone else helped you see it in a new light? When you are caught in a spiral of overthinking, reaching out for guidance is not a sign of weakness, but a recognition of our interconnectedness as human beings. Could you benefit from the insights of others to help you navigate your concerns more effectively? Applying Stoic principles with the help of others. The wisdom of others serves as a mirror, reflecting back to us what we may be unable to see on our own. This is not about outsourcing your decisions or relying on others to solve your problems, but about enriching your understanding through shared wisdom. Stoicism teaches that even the wisest among us benefit from the counsel of others, as we can never be fully impartial in our self-judgment. How might your perspective change if you allowed yourself to seek guidance from trusted friends, mentors, or even literature? Could this practice help you break free from the repetitive nature of overthinking and bring new clarity to your challenges? Breaking the cycle of rumination with human connection. When we open ourselves to the insights and experiences of others, we often find that our problems become more manageable. It is not that the challenges themselves become smaller, but that our understanding of them grows. Human connection is a powerful remedy for the isolation that overthinking creates, reminding us that we do not have to face our struggles alone. Can you think of someone whose wisdom you value and respect? What if you reached out to them for a fresh perspective the next time you find yourself overthinking? Allow the wisdom of others to guide you, not as a crutch, but as a resource to complement your own inner strength. Finding clarity through shared wisdom. Seeking wisdom from outside yourself helps to break the loop of overthinking by bringing new perspectives and insights to your challenges. Together, these 10 Stoic strategies offer a comprehensive approach to managing the tendency to overthink, guiding you toward a life of greater calmness and purpose. We have explored 10 Stoic techniques for overcoming overthinking, each offering practical and philosophical guidance for reclaiming mental peace. By visualizing overthinking as an external force, refocusing your energy, embracing impermanence, creating a worry period, breaking down thoughts into actionable steps, practicing gratitude, focusing on effort, engaging in voluntary discomfort, reflecting on life's transience, and seeking wisdom from others, you equip yourself with the tools to live more freely and intentionally. Which of these techniques resonated with you the most? Have you tried any of them before? Share your reflections in the comments below and let us know how Stoicism has helped you navigate your own mental challenges. Remember, the path to mastering your thoughts is a journey, not a destination. These Stoic strategies are not quick fixes, but lifelong practices that grow stronger with daily application. If you found value in this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with others who may benefit, and subscribe to the channel for more content on Stoicism and personal growth. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Stoic wisdom. May you find strength in managing your mind, tranquility in letting go of unnecessary thoughts, and fulfillment in living with purpose. Stay mindful, stay present, and keep practicing Stoicism.